Welcome to episode 12 of the Out of Here podcast. Giants were in a free fall. They are kind of somewhat climbing out of it right now. Still kind of hard to be optimistic about this team, but at least we saw some improvements toward the end of the Padres series.
Yes, definitely. Like all in all, much better play the last two games of that series, and just gotta hope that the whole team can kind of continue that going into the next week or so with some pretty tough opponents coming up soon.
Yeah. So since we last recorded, they played 3 in Arizona and 4 in San Diego. They dropped 2 of 3 to the Diamondbacks and then split. They lost the first 2 and won the final 2 against the Padres. And most exciting game, at least from a Giants fan perspective, was the game just yesterday, or I get maybe 2 days ago, depending on when you're listening to this. The 12-0 victory, where Giants offense needed that game so badly. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, they just mashed on Mackenzie Gore, and they got him out of the game after 3+ innings.
Yeah, he was in for looks like 3 1/3. Gave up 8 runs.
And I mean, pretty much everyone got a hit yesterday except for Mercedes, who only had 2 at bats. But yeah.
Yeah, the biggest guy from yesterday was Wilmer Flores with 2 homers. He was 4 for 6.
Definitely, and his 3 homers in 2 games, which is good.
Yeah, I think Eric Karros kind of eating his words right now. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, I did hear about that, but I mean, in a way, it does kind of make sense. Like he was talking about the fact that the Padres have Machado as the 3-hitter or whatever, but still, he kind of made him eat his words there.
I mean, Flores is good.
He's decent. He's a decent hitter. I can see where he's coming from, but it's still not really right to say.
I think, honestly, if you still think that way about teams, you're kind of like a dinosaur, because the Giants last year, there's so many games where you could have said, like, oh, wow, they have Darren Ruff in the 4 spot. Who the hell is that? And then you look at his numbers and he's like, okay, no, he's totally worthy of being there. So,
yeah, definitely. I think in a way it was just kind of explaining where the Giants record is right now. But if you saw them last year, it was pretty much the same thing. So, can't really say much about it.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, they really came alive that last game. 4 for 6 from Wilmer. Austin Slater, who has been one of the few dependable players on offense the Giants have had this year. He was 2 for 5 with a walk. Mike Yastrzemski, 2 for 5. Joey Bart, 1 for 3 with 2 walks, showing off that plate discipline some more. So really, I mean, this team, I feel like if you look at their starting rotation, and you could have Logan Webb, Carlos Rodon as your 1-2, which is an incredible 1-2, no matter how you look at it. And then Alex Wood, Alex Cobb, who I think have both been better than their numbers suggest. Finally got a good game out of Wood. And then when Junis comes back, even if he's not quite as effective, that's one hell of a rotation right there. You get everyone healthy, pitching at their best.
I think that that rotation can really match up as like a top 5 rotation if the top 2 continue to dominate like they have been, and then Wood, Cobb, and Junis can come along or continue to improve on their numbers, which aren't really like their true numbers, but yeah, they technically, quote unquote, have been struggling. But
yeah, I think the path to the playoffs for the Giants, it's still alive. Like, as pessimistic as I am, and a lot of Giants fans are, like, they still have like a very real shot at the playoffs. But the path to it, I think, is you need that start. You need the strength of this team to be their starting rotation, because that's what it can be if it's doing its best. And if you get that, and you get better defense, and really just league average offense, which is kind of what they've had this year, I think that's enough to get a wild card spot, honestly, if they can keep that going.
Yeah, I think they can get that last wild card spot. They are a few games out of it right now, but I feel like it's definitely within reach. I mean, there's still another 80 games to go, so
I believe they are 2 games out of the
yeah,
playoff spot right now. So
yeah,
how much?
but yeah, 80 games to go. I mean, anything could happen in those 80 games. Who knows? Maybe they're sellers at the deadline. Like it could really go either way. You don't know, but
Yeah,
they definitely have the potential.
that's the other way. It's if it keeps going badly, who do you think they'd sell off?
As much as I hate to say it, I feel like Rodon would be the piece that gets them the most.
Mm-hmm.
But and he's also on that like basically 1 year contract with the or 2 year contract with an option, which could basically be a 1 year contract. So
Yeah, Rodon, I agree, definitely the big guy because I know he's technically signed for next year, kind of, but
yeah,
you're not going to get him next year. I don't think there's any chance he's sticking around.
if you were to sell, no.
Yeah,
So
no, but like even if I'm saying even if
even if you stay and we went
yeah,
for
even
it,
if he stays, I think he's opting out because
yeah,
I don't see any other reason he would have put that in his contract other than if he did well, he could get paid more.
yeah, yeah. And he's doing well, and he's so far stayed healthy, so he's definitely going to get paid more.
Yeah. Other starters, I feel like most you'd want to keep, or maybe Jacob Junis if he gets healthy and keeps pitching well, he could be a good sell piece.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so too.
I think a team would pick him up.
Hmm.
But yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. But
Yeah, we
see.
don't want to see the team sell, but if it comes to that, then it'll come to that.
Yeah, I have the game on the background right now. Cobb just loaded the bases. They're already down 1 run in the inning. Yeah, so right now they're in this series against the Diamondbacks, and then like you said, after this it's playoff teams. You're against the Brewers, and then you're against the Dodgers for 8 straight games. Granted, there's the All-Star break in between, but still, it's kind of brutal. So you got to right the ship in a hurry here, or else.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to say it'll define their season, but it can definitely put them on the right track if they can win both the Brewers and the Dodgers series. Like that would be a huge step in the right direction for sure.
If they struggle against the Diamondbacks and then they go like 1-7 in those 8 games, I would say like, okay, they're sellers at the deadline, like no doubt.
Yeah, that's why I think these next like 10 games or 9 games or whatever could really decide what they do.
It's crunch time. This is it. Yeah. Also, I want to talk about the offense a little bit. Just highlighting a few players. We've had a handful of guys who've been consistently good all year. Austin Slater, I don't think we've talked about him enough on the podcast yet. Extremely reliable, and 837 OPS, which is way above league average this year. Way above.
Yeah, I feel like this has been his best season so far as a Giant. I mean, we know he's a solid defender, but now the offense has come around too. He's been really consistent, so that's really good.
Jock Peterson, obviously named an All-Star, streakiest player in the world. It's pretty incredible. I feel like he's due for another 3-homer game or something. It's been a little cool lately. Good to see him named an All-Star though. And then our only other guy with an OPS over 800 with regular playing time is Luis Gonzalez. So I hope we can. I hope he can keep it up. And I've been waiting for him to regress for a while now, and it hasn't happened. I know he's been injured for a little while, so I'm hoping like he's not coming back now. He's going to struggle big time, and he's going to go back to like a 250 hitter or something. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't really think that would happen to him. From what I've seen so far, even though his BABIP was pretty high, like I don't know. I just feel like he's a good hitter, and the numbers are representing that. It's not like a stroke of luck or anything.
Mm-hmm. I hope. I don't know. I mean, like you said, very Marco Scutaro-esque, and you know how well he did. Joey Bart's back. I'll talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, we could talk about Bart. I mean, he's looked okay. He had a solid game against the Padres, so
Very, very few hitters have an on-base percentage above their slugging percentage, and Bart is almost there. His on-base is 300 because he walks a ton, and his slugging is 300 because he strikes out a ton. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Bart, again, he's kind of a make or break sort of guy. Like, if he keeps up his 5-something OPS, striking out 50% of the time, it can be very hard for the Giants to make the playoffs, I think. But if he gets hot, he starts playing like he did at the start of the year, it's huge for your catcher spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of maybe took for granted how much Buster added to the team, because we're seeing more like normal catcher offensive production now from our trio that's been playing this season.
Yeah, I kind of have to disagree with that though. I think we knew losing Posey would hurt, but I felt that with Bart and Casali, we were going to get at least average offense from them, if not maybe a little above average. And instead, we've seen Kurt Casali is the best of the bunch, and his OPS is 696. And then behind them, you've had Joey Bart, and we know the season he's had at 600 OPS, striking out like there's no tomorrow. And then Austin Wynns has actually been an even worse offensive player going by OPS. He's only at 590. And
he started out decent, but fell back down.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it makes it look like Posey was even more of a god than he was. But I think it's both that he was really good, obviously, but I mean it's so bad, our catcher spot this year.
Yeah. I definitely think that if they want to make an actual deep playoff run, they would have to maybe trade for, one of the better catchers in the league, because I'm not sure the production they're getting right now is going to really be enough at all.
If the Giants maintain this course and the trade deadline comes around and they're like 2 games over 500, I think I might have asked you this last time too,
Yeah.
but if it's like, where do you need to be for them basically to not be sellers? Because I feel like if they're a 500 team, even if they have a shot, like just forget it,
Yeah. No, I think if what they've been doing kind of up and down kind of continues, I think they should just be sellers. Because to really be a solid playoff team, they need to have more consistency, and they haven't shown that at all this season.
Yep, more consistency. That is what they need. That's about all I got. I don't know if there's any other topics you wanted to touch upon, but there's I guess not too much to say about them right now. They just need to. It's like the big series are kind of coming up.
Yeah. I was thinking that we could talk about like the outfield makeup now that a lot of the guys are becoming healthy again. Like Wade's come back, and we got Luis Gonzalez back. Like, who do you see as the main guys at the outfield, especially with Slater doing much better this season?
It's tricky. Jock has to be out there. I think has to be out there. And Slater. I think it's pretty clear to me.
Yeah.
Because Ruff can play the outfield, but I think just making the DH whenever you want to start him. I think his defense isn't worth throwing them out in the corner outfield. Lamont Wade. I love late night Lamont, but 612 OPS hasn't been too inspiring so far. So kind of hesitant to keep giving him starts.
I think right now he's playing first, which kind of calls into question what Belt is doing. I wasn't really following.
Well, they're having him DH a lot.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, kind of feels like it's either Belt, Ruff, or Wade being either the first baseman DH or not playing that day.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a carousel of like replacement level players and the DH spot. But yeah, I think our outfield is the strength of our offense by far. Jock Peterson,
Yeah,
Mike
that's so far
Yastrzemski,
this
Slater.
season for sure.
All three of them above average production, and then you've had some really good defense from Slater and Yaz. So,
which is kind of interesting because I feel like for years it's been the outfield's been the weak point of the team.
yeah, last year our infield was incredible, and our
Yeah.
outfield was kind of not great. That's complete opposite. David VR, it's been nice to see him playing though.
Yeah, he got his first home run during the Padres series, so that was good. And I think he's had pretty good plate discipline.
He does kind of strike out a lot. I think he struck out in, yeah, he's at 40% of his plate appearances he struck out in. So it's, and he did strike out a lot in AAA too. So you kind of know that's part of his game. But yeah, I mean, you could strike out a lot and still be a successful player. So
yeah, he's kind of, I mean, you just hope it doesn't turn into another Bart.
Yeah, that's it. Just don't swing through everything, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Just make contact when you have to. But yeah, I'm thinking who else I want to talk about. I mean, it's like everyone. You got all these other guys we didn't talk about, like Stella, Crawford.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking of asking you about La Stella. Like,
sucks.
Yeah, do you think it's time to just move on?
So he's injured right now, right?
Yeah, he's out right now.
Hesitant to DFA him, but
that reminds me, we could also talk about someone they DFA'd this week.
That's true. Yeah, we'll talk about the relievers in a minute, but I think I don't know, man. It's because it's not like we have all these guys we want to like replace Stella with, but also it's like he has been. I said this before, but the strength of his game is his plate discipline and his ability to not strike out. And this year, that's partially gone, and he's not hitting for hardly any power. His batting average is 241. He's not walking at all. I think he's had some suspect defense too. And he's been a below replacement level player. He has negative 0.6 baseball reference WAR. So I don't know. I wouldn't be like sad to see him DFA'd, but I mean, I would be sad in one sense, but like I wouldn't blame them for DFAing him at some point.
Yeah. Who else?
We could go to the relievers if you want.
Yeah, we could just go to the relievers now.
Jake McGee.
Yeah, they've pulled the plug.
I am a little surprised they didn't give him a longer leash, especially because it's like these other guys we've been bringing up, like Junior Marte and Yovera, like it's not like they've been like studs that you're clearly going to want to use all the time instead of McGee.
Yeah. I actually wasn't really keeping track much of how he'd been doing since coming back, but it doesn't seem like he was much better.
Well, what do you mean when he came back?
Like when he came back from his injury, when he came back from his
the most recent
quote unquote phantom injury. Yeah.
Well, he had the phantom IL in late May, and he actually, I mean, I could check since he came back at the end of May. I'll check what his ERA was. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I believe it wasn't that horrible though.
Yeah, it seemed like he was doing a little better, but I don't know. Yeah.
So he had a 4.91 ERA since coming back from his injury. 3.92 FIP. Striking out a ton of guys. Yeah, he had a nice stretch in there where I think he pitched in. Oh my God, how many games in a row was that? He pitched in 9 straight games without giving up an earned run.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty good. And then he had blow up appearance. He gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning against the Braves. The next outing gave up a run in an inning. Then he had a scoreless inning, and then he gave up 2 in an inning against the Padres, and then DFA.
Yeah.
So he was doing well for a while, but then he ran into some trouble and they're done.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't really see too many stud like relievers in the AAA level, so I guess they just wanted to move on. Doesn't really matter who was next after him.
It's like also these guys, Zach Littell and Jose Alvarez, that are injured right now. It's not like they've been having great seasons. You're not going to count on them when they come back. So
Yeah,
I don't know, questionable, I think, but at the same time, like I'm not really that upset. It's like whatever. It's not like he's
yeah, I don't think he was going to be as good as he was last year. He wasn't going to return to that at all, it seemed.
no chance. As a whole, our relief pitching this year has been extremely suspect compared to last year. Hardly anyone. I think. I guess the only guy who's been as good or better than he was last year is Brevia, and I
Yeah,
guess
no,
Garcia,
definitely.
but Brevia really.
Brevia is the main one I see who's been better than he was last year, but last year he was pretty bad. So
No, well, even as good as last year, I think he's the only one.
yeah.
Maybe Long, I guess, because he's a reliever.
Mhm.
But then it's like Duvall has been worse, Rogers has been worse, Leone has been worse. Uh, McGee is gone, and he was worse. Littell was worse. Alvarez, it's like everyone. So, yeah, I think relievers got to figure something out. We got a shot at this. Which, again, we're losing 3-0 to the Diamondbacks right now, so not really high hopes. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about?
Um, Nothing off the top of my head. But yeah, they just need to turn it around or continue to turn it around. It's not gonna. 2 games in San Diego is not enough.
Um, yeah, what's up with Luciano?
Oh,
I checked on him in a
I
bit.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't really looked at too many prospects lately since the one I wanted to be called up, VR, is called up. So
Yeah, I just want to check on Luciano since he's here. 867 OPS in Eugene. So par for the course.
yeah, I mean, do you see him getting the AA call by the end of the season?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think you can see it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert on like I don't know exactly what's going on with the AA team, but yeah, I think so. I would see it. So anyway, I think we'll wrap it up here. Unless you got anything else. Good.
I think that's about it.
All right, guys. So hopefully they will either go on a run so they're a clear playoff team, or they will tailspin some more and they can clearly be sellers and set up a bit for next year and beyond. We'll see. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back again next week. And for now, this one is over.